foremost. All right, hey guys, this is Chef Charlie. Welcome to Sundays in Chef Charlie's Kitchen. I'm so glad that I was able to have our first guest today. Something floating in my water. Simone and the boys came by, and it was really fun. Simone has 3 beautiful boys, and you guys know I have one son, Cooper, and so they love to play together in church and everything. So I invited Simone over. She was the first guest of our Cooking with Chef Charlie, or Sundays in Chef Charlie's Kitchen. She was the first guest, but we'll have plenty more. So in the first video, you guys saw me preparing a chicken dip. With a fresh roasted chicken and a lot of fresh ingredients. So I made the chicken dip. It was a hit. It came out really good. I was going off of a recipe that I was given from one of my church members, Kelsey, who made it for a meeting last Sunday. And so I wanted to recreate it and get the same flavors and see how it came out. So it came out good. When I first made it and when I pulled the chicken, it didn't... I pulled the chicken and I put it into the cheese sauce that you saw me create. I didn't like it at first. But I remembered that she told me that she prepared it in a slow cooker. Now, I decided not to use a slow cooker. I do own one, but it's like I never use it, and it has a bunch of stuff in it, like old mail and stuff, because it was sitting on my table. And the first time I just stuck one envelope in there, like, let me just put this over here, and then it became the mail collector. So now my crock pot is actually sitting on my table behind me with a bunch of mail in it. So that is what it is used for these days. You know, I should clean it out and really use it. It's an old school version of a crock pot. My dad gave it to me when I was moving out, and I still have it. It works fine. It works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's just an upstanding one that's like tall and not wide. Like some of the newer ones are wide, you know, where you can put like a whole roast or a whole chicken in it. I can't do that with mine. Mine is like right standing like this, and it's very small. Like the opening is about that small. So I couldn't like roast a whole chicken or anything crazy like that. But it is still usable, and I will still use it. It's just that I didn't want to. I didn't want to clean it out. I didn't feel it was worth it. So I used this pot right here. You guys saw I used this pot to do it. So when I first pulled the chicken and added it to the cheese base, I didn't like it. And the reason why is because, one, it didn't taste like Kelsey's. And then, two, it was just because I pulled the chicken and put it straight in there. But because she used the slow cooker, because she used the crock pot, she let it cook, so the chicken got tenderized by everything that was in there. The chicken cooked more, it cooked down, it was more tender, and it fell apart, and it became a part of the sauce, you know. So I had to kind of go back and like, okay, so what did I do wrong? And that was what it was. It was just the cooking time. So I allowed my sauce to still cook in this pot, just on low, and I gave it the same treatment that it would have gotten, say, if it was in a crock pot. I'm gonna pour this water out because I just see too much stuff like floating in it right now. I filled this pot up earlier, maybe about probably around 9 o'clock, and it's 10 o'clock now. I filled it up and I set it on the stove and prepared to shoot the video, but I've been busy. So it's just been sitting here, but I'm not going to use it now because I just had to pick a couple things out of it. So I'm going to pour it out and start over. Start over with my, it was just plain cold water. So I'm going to wash the pot. So anyway, yeah, after I let it cook down a little while, it kind of started coming together and started looking more familiar and tasting better. And so the end result is very delicious. It's very good. We ate tacos with it. And this is the leftover. This is the leftover portion. I know I didn't do a results video like I usually do, guys, but I got really busy And so I wasn't able to do a results video. And then with the kids today, I was supposed to do a video where you guys saw them tasting the chicken dip and their first responses and stuff. And it all slipped my mind because we were just really having a good time. We were enjoying each other. The boys were enjoying each other. They were loud and they were watching reruns of Finding Nemo all day. So it didn't even cross my mind to even turn on the camera at the time. Sometimes you do just have to enjoy your life and just let life happen without necessarily recording everything. But anyway, this is the leftover chicken dip. I want to show it to you guys. It's a lot of fat deposits in there because it's a lot of cheese in here. So cheese naturally has fat attached to it because it's a dairy product. So you see like the fat here that I was kind of opening up. But yeah, that's what it looks like. It's cold already, but it was really good. Yeah, so when you cook with a lot of cheese, the cheese is gonna, and the cheese is breaking down because you're adding other ingredients to it, like the spices, the sour cream and tomatoes and all type of stuff. It's gonna break the cheese down to the point where the fat separates from the actual milk solids and the water. So that's just going to happen when you cook cheese, just in general. So that's what happened, but it didn't bother me at all. And it still tastes really good. The fat is red because of the spices. Remember, the spices yesterday were red. The taco spices that I used were red. So so fat also absorbs spices really well. So this little piece of fat right here actually probably tastes so good because it absorbed all the spice that is in there. Okay, so yeah, I have a few little fat deposits throughout this leftovers, which doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, you can wait till it gets cold like this and just pick all those little pieces of fat out if you want to. If you don't want to, you can mix it in, because like when you warm it up, you mix it in and they kind of like reincorporate inside of the cheese sauce and everything's fine. But when it gets cold like that, it's going to separate and it's going to do that. So it's nothing to be afraid of. I'm sure a lot of people seen it all the time with a lot of other things that you have high fat content, and that happens. Okay, so yay, today was fun. The next time we have a guest, I'm gonna try to plan a little better and try to get you guys involved in the actual festivities that we're doing once the guest is here. All right. So I just had to explain all of that. But right now what we're going to do is make stock. So this is the chicken bones from the chicken that I used for the chicken dip, right? So this is a whole chicken. I pulled it off. I pulled all of the chicken off of the chicken bone, okay? It looks so funny, right? But see, this is where the wings are. This would be the drumstick of the wing that you would pull off. Like, I just gotta show you this. Pop it off like that, and that was the chicken bone. But I use all of the chicken meat on here for the chicken dip. So all we got is some bones. So it didn't look like this. What I did was I roasted it on 350 for about, it wasn't even an hour. I wouldn't even say it was an hour. Maybe like 30 minutes. I roasted this. I roasted just the bones because I want the bones to be like nice and crispy and give us that flavor once we make this stock. So I roasted that at 350. I got a bunch of bones in here and I'm going to add it. So for those who are not familiar with making stock, it's a very simple process. And the purpose of stock is to replace water pretty much in anything that you would make. So for instance, if you're making chicken soup, if you're making chili, if you're making any type of dish that requires liquid, a stock would be what you use as opposed to water, right? So stock is basically water, but it's flavored water with veggies and, roasted chicken bones, roasted beef bones. You can make a beef stock, you can make a chicken stock, you can make a fish stock or a seafood stock with shrimp shells and fish bones. So today we're making a chicken stock, and it's a very simple one. You don't have to roast the chicken bones, but I roasted mine because I like the color that it gives and the flavor that it gives. It gives just that extra pop, that extra flavor. Some people use raw chicken bones, which is fine. You can use cooked or raw. You can roast them or leave them, you know, raw and pink with the raw meat showing and everything. That's fine too. That still gives you good chicken flavor. But I decided to roast mine. Sometimes people roast their chicken bones and they roast their veggies. I roast my veggies a lot of times. This time I'm not going to roast my veggies. All right. So let's pull out the veggies that I'm going to use today. Okay. So by veggies, y'all, I literally mean just my scraps of like onions and everything. Because most people throw these things away, right? So I just want to show this to you. Waste not, want not. Y'all know I'm a big waste not, want not. I believe in it. So you don't waste anything, you'll never want anything, because you're using everything to its fullest capacity, right? So this right here, what I have is just scraps from like onions that I peeled. Look at this. It's just scraps, y'all. Okay? That's a scrap of a red onion. All right? Just extra stuff. A scrap of bell pepper. All right? Scrap of an onion. Like I cut this whole onion off and I left this core piece of onion. All right? This is the type of stuff that I would use for my stock, and I save it and I make chicken stock, I make beef stock, whatever. Just, you know, bell peppers, onions. I got some, remember these carrots that Coop picked up and didn't eat? And I used some of them, but I didn't use all of them. So the rest of these carrots are going in my stock. All right, I got a little bit of like a clove of garlic, a half an onion that I still have left that I just was cutting off of. All right, so I'm going to use that whole thing. Another little core of red onion, right? And then I got a few pieces of celery that I haven't used. So I use this whole thing, bag of celery, and I just have a few pieces left, like the little core pieces. I'm going to cut this whole thing up and use it, obviously, after I wash it, though. Because, you know, celery, it holds that dirt. So you got to cut the core part off and rinse that dirt off, because you don't want that inside your stock. Like these real visible grains of sand that be on the celery. So, you know, with those type of things, you wash them or whatever, because you don't want those type of sediments or anything in your stock. So yeah, so I just got this little bit of celery left that I'm going to use this whole thing, including the leaves, and I'm going to put that in there for flavor. So this right here is just taking all the flavor out of these veggies right here and all these chicken bones, and you're just putting it into a liquid form. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do today. The traditional way to make stock is a 50, 25, 25 ratio, which is the classic French way to make stock is 25% carrot, 25% celery, 50% onion, chicken bones, and cold water, right? But obviously, you know, you can tweak that and use whatever you have. So I'm using carrots, onions, and celery, but I'm also going to throw a little bit of garlic in there. I'm going to throw a little bit of, oh, I have this too. I have some red peppers, like the bottoms of red peppers. Look. I'm going to throw a little bell pepper in there, see, a little piece of red pepper where I cut it. And I saved this for my stock. Most people will tell you don't use bell peppers for stock. When I was in school, my chef instructors all told me you don't use bell peppers for stock, but this is why they said that, you know. So see, I have just little pieces of onion, like leftover onion that I'm going to use, and you use it in big pieces. Like most of this stuff I'm not going to cut, and if I cut it, I might just cut it in half, you know, like, but you want it to stay in big pieces because you have to pull this stuff back out of the water and drain it. And this then you can toss it. So yeah, I just got a few pieces of red pepper, some onion in here, some carrot, like, see some carrot scraps in here. Just stuff like this, whatever you have left over that you cut off from your vegetables. All that stuff has flavor, y'all, and you have to use it somehow. So even if that is just making a stock, you have to use it. You know, you have to, oh shoot, I just dropped it. But you have to, you know, don't waste anything. You know, if you can find a way to use it, use it. All right, so that's what I got, some scraps in there. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm gonna just literally dump all of this in here, but there's a few pieces that I wanna cut up. Okay, just a few little pieces. Y'all, Coop is on the toilet right now. He's calling my name, so if he barges in here, it's because I'm ignoring him right now. But yeah, so celery. See, you got to cut this part off. I don't ever put this in my stock. Like, I would if it was cleaner, but see how dirty it is, and it has like a bunch of like dirt and sand and stuff. You know, still be smart. Don't just use any old thing. Don't use vegetables that are like old and molded either. Like, you know, I keep this stuff and I save it, but I don't keep it long enough for it to like go bad and then put it in my stock. That's not good. Okay, so you know, it's still good stuff. It's just scraps. It's not like old like moldy vegetables or anything that I'm using for my stock. Never do that. You know, you still want the quality of your stock to come out good. So you never want to like just use some crap and expect for it to come out good. All right. So, you know, boom. So I'll probably just cut that one time. Now, the reason why they say don't use bell peppers in stock, which I understand, is because you want the flavor of stock to be, you want the flavor of your stock to be, this is a piece of onion. You want it to be very neutral, so that way you can use it for anything. So when you put bell peppers in your stock, it kind of changes that neutral flavor, and it leans your stock more towards something that will have bell peppers in it, because bell peppers do have a strong flavor. The reason why I'm not worried about using bell peppers in this stock though is because more than likely I'm going to use it on something Cajun, because that's how I cook, Cajun or Southern, and both of those cuisines use bell pepper, so it wouldn't be weird to taste the bell pepper in the chicken stock. You know what I'm saying? But you know, for French cooking or any cooking that you want to keep really neutral, and you don't want it to taste like a certain thing because you want to just like maneuver, you want to keep it with just carrots, onions, and celery, right? That's the French way, but of mirepoix, right? But for people who are cooking a Cajun meal, like, please, by all means, put bell peppers in your stock. Like, don't listen to them people. They don't know what it is that you're doing with your stock, so they can't really say or not rather to tell you to put bell peppers in it. So this one I'm putting bell peppers in. Okay, so this is how big I like to cut my pieces of veggies, y'all. Like, I don't cut them very small at all. Like, see this right here? I'm not going to cut this at all. I'm going to put this whole thing in there just like this. I want it to stay big pieces, so it's giving off flavor, but at the same time, when it comes time for me to pull this stuff out and leave the stock behind, leave the liquid behind, it won't be so hard for me to take it out. Okay? That's really the point of putting big pieces in there. Now, if you feel like going and swimming after all of those little pieces and you want to mince and dice all of your vegetables, listen, be my guest, but I'm not about that life. So this is fine for me. All right, so just chopping up my veggies, and yes, I put the skin in there, y'all. This is an onion, y'all. Like, even the part that you don't necessarily eat, this has onion flavor. Like, onions grow in layers, right, y'all see the layers? And if you've ever had an onion that maybe started like molding or going bad on the top layer, and you know how you can pull that top layer off and the fresh in the bottom layer is like still fresh and you can use it, it's the same concept, y'all. That onion, right, this used to be just a regular like layer of onion, just like this right here. Look, okay, this used to be this, and all it did was dry out, you understand? But it still has all of that good oniony flavor that you want in your stock. So it's okay to put the onion skin in your stock, guys. Make sure it's clean. Obviously, you wash your onions. I wash all my veggies before I use them, so this is clean. But yeah, so when an onion is growing, it starts off with that nice fresh onion flesh on top. But in order to protect itself, it creates a barrier of skin, those layers on the outside that we don't eat. It creates that in order to protect the inner, fresher pieces of onion that we actually eat. Okay, so because this is a stock and we're not eating this, we're only doing this for flavor, it's absolutely fine to put a stem of a bell pepper in there and the core of a bell pepper in there because you're pulling it out. You're not eating this. You understand? You just want that flavor. That's what you want. All right, so you put that stuff in there. Okay, don't be scared of that. You know, that's flavor. And then when the stock is done, you can put this in anything. You can make soup, you can make chili, you can make gravy. Like, y'all, I'm trying to tell you, this whole bag of onion, a whole bag of carrots is going in here. I don't need to cut these because they're already small, you know. Like, if I wanted to, like, you know, optimize the flavor and, you know, because they're not peeled or anything, okay, sure, I'll just, like, pop it in half so that way you can get that fresh carrot in there. Okay, so fine, that's fine. I'll cut them in half so that way we can really be getting the optimal carrot flavor out of here. And I'm just going to cut them right in half to make sure that we're getting all that good carrot flavor, because this really, I don't have a lot of carrot. Carrot is like this, the smallest amount of veggies that I have. So sure, I'll do that. That's fine. Cut them in half, right? Get those big old pieces of bell pepper and the seeds, everything. Put it in there. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable with the seeds, don't put them in there. Okay, let's take them out. Let's chop those seeds right off, because I don't think y'all realize like what it is that you're gaining from making this beautiful stock. This is probably going to make a few quarts of stock for me that I can save and use over time. And I'm gonna, like every other video that I do using this stock, I'm gonna be like, remember that stock that I made? I'm still using that stock. It lasts for a long time. Okay, that's my point. All right, so you know, get all those onions in there. And I was also told never to put garlic in stock, but that's just because if whatever you're using, you don't want a garlic flavor, then okay, don't put it in there. But a lot of stuff that I use, a lot of stuff that I cook have garlic in it, have bell peppers in it, and so I'm not afraid to put a garlic in there. I'm not afraid to put a bell pepper in there or anything like that, you know. Boom, piece of onion right there, red onion, put it in. All right, all my little onion skin and everything, cores and all of that, I'm putting that in there, y'all. I'm not scared of flavor. Don't be afraid of flavor. That's one thing you're gonna learn watching my channel. I love flavor, and as much as I can do to get flavor into my food, I'm gonna do it, you know, because flavor is how you don't oversalt your food. When your food tastes good with the flavors of nature and veggies and aromatic root vegetables like bell peppers, onions, garlic, and all of that, you don't need a lot of salt. Okay, mark my words, you don't need a lot of salt when you're using this good stuff. All right, boom, put that bell pepper in there. Let's get some of this good stuff back here in my bag. See all of these pieces of carrot? Like, this is from peeled carrots, y'all. Just put it all in there. That's all you gotta do. Don't be afraid. Just throw it in the pot. Just throw it in the pot. Just throw it in the pot. I'm cutting off my seeds because, you know, like I said, I don't want to run after a lot of floating stuff. But the seeds are perfectly fine to put in there if you want to chase seeds when you're straining this stock. But I don't necessarily want to chase no small seeds to take it out, right? And there's still going to be some seeds in there because they're sticking to the veggies. That's fine, but I'm just not going to put a whole seed pot in there. Like, I'm not about that chasing life. All right, I don't chase nothing. I don't chase vegetables. I don't chase men. I don't chase nothing. All right, all right. Sorry, y'all. Me and Simone was having a conversation about men chasing earlier, so it kind of came back to my head. But anyway, men chasers, we ain't about that life. You hear me? But yeah. So just put everything in. I got some more onions. Got some more bell pepper in there, and that one's pretty seedy. So let me make sure I get all the seeds off. Boom. Put that in. No problem. We ain't got no problems. Everything fine. Everything fine over here. We good. We got flavor. We good. And we ain't got no worries. Right? And then now I put my chicken bones in. All my chicken bones. Put it in. Boom. All that flavor. Look at this. That's a chicken bone, y'all. But look at how that still has all of the seasoning and everything on there. Put that chicken bone in there. Put that chicken bone in there. Put all them chicken bones in there. Okay. Everything I can find to put in there, I'm putting it in there because this is flavor, okay? Y'all, see this right here? This just looks like a dirty dish to somebody, right? But to somebody else like me, this looks like flavor. It's flavor. Okay, you scrub all of that off. You can make a good gravy out of this pan just by itself. All right? Let me tell you something. Y'all, I'm about that flavor life. You heard me? You heard me? I'm about that flavor life, okay? I'm about it. Okay, so boom. Chicken bones are in. Veggies are in. And that was an empty pot. So now I'm going to fill this is actually how you're supposed to do it anyway. You put all your ingredients in first, and then you add cold water. Cold water. Not warm, not room temperature, not hot. Don't put it into boiling water. Cold water. Right? The reason why you put it in cold water is because you want the water to come to a boil with the food and with the chicken bones and the veggies already in it. And that's really what's going to pull out all the flavor that's available.
Cold water?
It's cold water, yes. Coop heard me say cold water.
Cold water.
Yes, cold water. So you fill it all the way up until the water covers. Just covers the contents of the pot.
Want cold water, please?
You want cold water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mama, I don't want no water.
You just said you want cold water. What you want? Juice, I'm sure. All right, go ahead. I'll bring it to you, okay? Go have a seat. I'll bring it to you. Okay?
Get out.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, I'm glad I turned around when I did. Messing around with Koopy almost made me overflow the pot. But what I was saying was that you put water in to just cover the contents of your pot, so it's gonna be really heavy. And it's all the way to the top too. You can almost see it. Yeah, you see it's sticking out a little bit. But I'm gonna show it to you how it looks. But yeah, you started off with cold water, no hot water. No hot water necessary, and the reason why is because if the water is already hot or it's already boiling when you put your chicken and your vegetables in, you're not going to have that time for the water. Like while the water is coming to a boil, it's the veggies and the bones are already releasing something into cold water, and then as the water warms and starts to boil, you getting all of that potential flavor out, as opposed to dropping this into hot water, dropping this into water that's already boiling. It's going to cook those vegetables and turn them into mush before you ever get any good flavor out of them. That's why it's the point of it is to put it in cold water, so that way you get every single bit of flavor that you can squeeze out of them bones. You got to squeeze it out. So that's the technique, cold water. And then there's something called a second stock. There's a French word for it, but it escapes me right now. You want apple juice? Okay, here I come. I'm giving you apple juice.
Apple juice?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Wow, apple juice.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Go sit down. Hold it with 2 hands, please. So, yeah. So, there's and I can't remember the name of the French word right now. It'll come back to me, but it means second stock. And so what that means is you can make a stock with this, drain this stock out and reuse the same stuff, and it's called a second stock. And even though it'll have less flavor than the first stock, it'll still be more flavorful than water. So a lot of people prefer to use a second stock as opposed to water because it still has some type of flavor in it. I'm not going to do that with this. Because I've already cooked my chicken bones, and I don't know how much more heat or cooking they can stand before they start to break down. So I'm not going to do a second stock, but you can. If my bones were raw, I would probably be more likely to do a second stock because they haven't bared so much cooking. So I cooked the chicken I roasted the chicken, and then I roasted the bones after I took the chicken off. And now I'm boiling this. So I feel like that's enough cooking for those bones. Like I don't need to do a second stock because I don't feel like it would be worth doing. It won't, you know, to me it won't be necessary either because I'm gonna get all of the stock that I need out of this one. So anyway, yes, and then what you do is you turn your heat on, okay, and you bring it to a boil. I don't turn the fan down a little bit. I don't turn it on super high. Oh, something is burning over here. I had a piece of aluminum foil on the stove and it started getting real exciting over here. Okay, so yeah. So then you turn your fire on. And, you know, you turn it to like a medium or whatever, like, you know, not too low, not too high, but, you know, you want to bring it to a boil. Okay, so I want to show y'all what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like once you put the cold water in there. And the veggies are all floating in the bones. You see the chicken bones. See the chicken bones popping out of there. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Just a bunch of veggies in cold water. It doesn't look super like exciting or elegant or anything like that, which it's not going to, but you know, flavor doesn't always look good, but it tastes great. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, so we just making stock with the chicken bones, and that's what I mean by don't sleep on leftovers. That's what I mean when I say waste not, want not. Use everything from what is it, trout to tail, nose to tail, whatever. It's basically using the whole animal, using everything, using the bones, using the skin, using the meat, using the, you know, the veggies, the parts that you would usually throw away of a red bell pepper or of an onion. Use it. It's usable. Somehow you're going to find a use for it. And when you do, use it, guys. Super excited. I'm so happy for you guys coming and sharing with me. Glad you guys got to meet Simone today, and I'm going to be using this stock for a lot of my other videos, so stay tuned, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, like, do some of the stuff that I'm doing in these videos. Make some of these meals. Follow my Facebook page, Chef's Kid. Chef's Kid with Chef Charlie. That's on Facebook. And that's where I will be starting to do a lot of different things, such as put some of the meals that I prepare for Cooper and his snack ideas, and just helping moms, you know, prepare healthier snacks for the kids. That will be my basis for that. It'll also be just updates on Coop in his life, you know. It'll basically be the Chef Kids page. So if you want to hear more about healthy eating and cooking ideas for kids and for adults, go to that page, follow that page, that Chef's Kid with Chef Charlie on Facebook. All right, and I'll put the link down in this video as well. But yeah, so like, share, follow, make some chicken stock, love yourself, love the Lord, and I'll see you guys on the next one.